Whether it's a meme, legendary night, or simply a menacing blow, big punches are the reason 99% of people tune into the sport of boxing, and rightly so.
Oh my, whoa! Look out! If he gets up, it'll be a miracle.
We've dug through our personal archive to bring you 25 of the most unforgettable punches ever landed in the ring. If you're new to boxing, you might need a pillow to shield your eyes. And if you're used to seeing fighters get their lights turned out, well, this is the right time to grab some popcorn. Froch Groves 2 had everything a boxing fan could ask for. A genuine bitter rivalry, a controversial first fight, a packed-out Wembley Stadium of 80,000 fans, and, by Carl Froch's own admission, the greatest punch he has ever landed.
Digs in deep, sucks it up, and gets it! Wow! Right hand! Has destroyed Groves! It's waved off already! Charlie Fish saw it out!
Probably not Riddick Bowe's greatest night of his career, but he was a man surrounded by many boxing controversies, and this one might just top the lot. Take a look back at the 1994 press conference for his upcoming bout against Larry Donald.
Fight. This could change your mind.
Just in case you were wondering, Bowe also beat him up over 12 rounds a few weeks later. Number 23 speaks volumes for the two men involved. Ernie Shavers is regarded by every boxing historian, writer, and longtime fan as one of, if not the hardest puncher ever. And Larry Holmes is without a doubt one of the greatest and most durable heavyweight champions of all time. When they met for the second time back in 1979, both of the fighters' strengths were displayed beautifully and brutally. I wish there was another angle broadcasted out of that punch, but sadly this is the only angle we have. Either way, how did Larry get up from that? I like to remember number 22 as the zombie punch. Check out a young Roy Jones Jr. back in 1992, landing a beautiful right hook midway through the first round on Art Serrano. Yeah, that's why they call it the zombie punch. Thankfully, he recovered a few moments later. Any boxing fan from Britain will tell you when Amir Khan was first coming through the ranks, he was nothing short of a superstar. He was coming off an Olympic silver medal at the age of 17 and was blitzing through his domestic rivals as a pro. But one thing everyone was worried about was his chin, and when he matched up against unknown Colombian power puncher Bradis Prescott in 2008, everyone's doubts were proved to be correct. Not a night of boxing that will be remembered historically, but for me, possibly the most menacing blow ever landed in the heavyweight division.
Can he stay on his feet? Oh, that's good. Oh, what a left hook shot. Oh, no count necessary. Derek Jefferson, I love you. Oh, my.
Legend has it, Harris's mouth guard is still flying to this day. There was no way you were about to watch a knockout reel without seeing George Foreman. He had so many to choose from. The infamous uppercut on Joe Frazier that literally made his feet lift off the canvas could have made it for sure. But we decided to go with his amazing right uppercut left hook combination on Jerry Cooney in 1990.
Think about how to survive, because he's got a minute and 8 seconds left. Oh, and that's it!
And I don't think this fight's over. This fight's over. George Foreman blows away Jerry Cooney.
I'm not sure which was better, the punch itself or Foreman's reaction to the fight on the David Letterman show a few days later.
Correct me if I'm wrong, this fight last night went 4 grueling minutes.
I'm really hoping there is someone at home watching this clip for the first time. Meet Uzi Ahmed, a fun, over-the-top boxing personality that will sadly be remembered for the rest of his life as possibly the biggest meme in boxing history. Scratch that, the biggest meme in sports history. After his outrageous ring entrance, his opponent, Ashley Sexton, didn't see the funny side of things and absolutely destroyed him in round 1.
It's the right hand, and he's he's been having success with that since the opening bell. Oh, what a knockout! No way he'll get up from that. Fight's over. Ashley Sexton wins in amazing style.
Julian Jackson was the pound-for-pound hardest puncher in the world during the late 80s and early 90s. He put more people to sleep than a Margaret Wise Brown bedtime story. We could have chosen between many great KOs, but the one that resonates with the fans the most was his KO over Harold Graham in 1990.
As desperate as it is.
But falling ever further behind them. Oh no! That's what we were worried about. He won't get up from that.
He's out.
A right hand. It's all over.
He's out.
Oh, would you believe?
A good body shot has always got to make the list. Roy Jones's right hook to Virgil Hill's midsection broke 3 ribs. Out of all the punches in this video, this one might have been the most painful in my opinion.
Jones's power over Hill's chair. Whoa! Right to the body, down. Unheard of. Unheard of. Only the 3rd time Hill's ever been down. He's holding the kidney area on the right side.
The only punch on the list that resulted in a jail sentence. How, you may ask? Well, the fight itself was nothing out of the ordinary. Butler and Grant were 2 fairly average super middleweight contenders from the early 2000s, and they battled out a pretty decent scrap over 10 rounds. But once the judges read out the scorecards, Butler wasn't happy.
Is going to take a hit. Richard Grant in the mild upset. A unanimous decision victory.
Oh,
against
look at this.
Butler. Whoa! Butler just ran across the ring.
Butler just went over there and sucker punched and knocked out Grant.
He turns to Butler to shake his hand, congratulate him.
Putting his arm out. Boom!
Right there.
One of the most famous but controversial punches came back in 1965 when Muhammad Ali took on Sonny Liston for the 2nd time. Many felt Ali's punch in the first round never landed, or simply didn't have enough weight behind it to keep him down. What do you think?
Sorry, you killed the body and the head might follow.
Later upscales of the footage clearly show the punch land, but with Liston's ties to the mob, it's anyone's guess as to whether he was paid to stay down or not. With the name of The Perfect Punch, it's pretty obvious why it's an entrance on the list. Check out an aging Sugar Ray Robinson landing an immaculate left hook while moving backwards on Gene Fullmer in 1957.
Big left hook with Gene Fullmer. What's prettier than that? That's the greatest thing I ever saw. His Fullmer beating him and everything else. Boom! The fight was over. That's Robinson. Exciting.
It is the quintessential one punch out of nowhere.
If you look up the word knockout in the dictionary, there should be a picture of Mike Tyson. He easily has at least 30 brutal knockouts during his career, but we felt his first round knockout over the undefeated Michael Spinks for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world was the highlight of his career.
Here comes Mike Spinks in. He leads with the right hand. Down he goes. I don't think he'll get up from this. Mike Spinks is laying flat on his back. The count is up to 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. He won't be able to do it.
Spinks never fought again, and it's a shame really because he was a great fighter, but people close by him said he was frightened to the core of Iron Mike. Then again, who wasn't?
That Michael Spinks looked across the ring and realized this wasn't a fight he could win. He didn't sit down, he just lost the fight before round 1 began.
Number 11 was a typical case of the body trying to overcome the brain, and unfortunately for Zab Judah, it will always rank right up there as one of the most embarrassing moments in the ring.
And ending strong. Down he goes. A right hand. He's in trouble.
He's in real trouble.
It's over. Oh, man. What a turn of events.
After the fight, Judah kicked up a big fuss claiming he could have fought on, and he was chucking chairs and attacking everyone in sight. But I'm sure once he watched the fight back, he realized the ref made the right decision. If Mayweather never KO'd McGregor, this could have been his last knockout, and to be honest, it wouldn't have been a good look. His 2011 KO over fellow American welterweight Victor Ortiz will be remembered as a gray area moment in boxing. Sure, it was legal, but etiquette has to come into play somewhere along the line.
Oh, and then as Ortiz tries the sportsmanship, Mayweather makes him pay. What a rookie mistake there by Ortiz. It's up to 7 and 8. He's not going to make it. 9 and 10. It's all over. He's still out as he crawls to the corner right above us.
To make the top 10 of a list like this, and for the punch to not even result in a knockout, speaks volume for the magnitude of the occasion. Probably the most famous heavyweight fight in history, Ali versus Frazier. Both undefeated, both determined to win. They battled hard for 15 rounds, and in the closing stages of the fight, Frazier landed his trademark left hook.
Close to exhaustion, and Frazier unfurls this left hook.
The way Ali got back to his feet in seconds was breathtaking, but ultimately, Frazier did enough to win the bout by unanimous decision. Beating Mike Tyson at any stage of his career was an amazing achievement, but Buster Douglas truly shocked the world in 1990 when he rose off the canvas to score the most famous KO in boxing history, marking the end of the invincible Mike Tyson era.
Doesn't have the good balance. His legs together as Buster landing these. Oh, nice uppercut by Buster Douglas. Look at this. He's knocked Mike Tyson down for the first time in his career. Mike Tyson hits the canvas. He's in big trouble. He may not be able to recover. It's up to 7 and 8. He's not gonna make it. Unbelievable! Unbelievable! Unbelievable!
Similar to the previous clip, Antonio Tarver knocking out Roy Jones Jr. in 2004 ended the 50-fight destruction run for the multiple weight champion. He taunted him in the head-to-head pre-fight and then put him away in the second round, leaving Jones in a position we got used to seeing him in over the next few years.
He's not found a way still to get a sustained attack against him. And down goes Jones on a hard left hand, and that is the first that Roy Jones has ever been hurt. Only Lou DeVal ever knocked him down. Jones may not get up, and he makes it up. It's over. Jay Lady stops the fight.
Number 6 has to be the greatest sounding punch in boxing history. There have been so many great revenge knockouts over the years, but none can quite match the level of brutality Sergio Martinez inflicted on Paul Williams in 2010.
Good left hand, and down goes Williams. Right hand, Williams through the left, Williams down. He's not getting up, guys.
That is the knockout of the year, if nothing else. A sensational.
When you think of one-punch knockouts, you think of Pacquiao-Hatton. Two elite fighters in their primes, but one was simply too good for the other. Pacquiao tried his best to end the fight in round 1, but Hatton, being the stubborn warrior he is, battled hard, but eventually left himself open for a perfectly timed left hook.
But Ricky isn't moving his head too much still. His head is still right there.
Oh my gosh, what a straight left hand. And will Hatton make it up from this?
Can he beat the count?
Is that it? And Kenny Bama says, no way. That is that. What an amazing knockout shot. That is the most spectacular one-punch shot of Manny Pacquiao's incredible career.
Any fighter.
For me, this knockout will be the staple of Manny Pacquiao's career. It's just beautiful to watch. Rocky Marciano was a savage to say the least. 49 fights, 49 victories with 43 knockouts. And the men that went the distance took a life-changing beating. But in 1952, veteran Jersey Joe Walcott was edging close to becoming the first man to defeat The Rock. He was up on the judges' scorecards during the 13th round, but you can never count on a man who holds the power like Rocky did. And he eventually caught a glimpse of an opening and ended the fight in brutal fashion.
Now watch Rocky's right hand. As Walcott starts to throw a right hand, The Rock beats him to it. The World Heavyweight Championship was riding on that one devastating right to the jaw. Rocky Marciano, the Brockton blockbuster.
Lennox Lewis was not a man you would want to upset, but Rockman definitely tried his best to unsettle the all-time great heavyweight. Heated press conferences turned into heated knockouts. Rockman shocked the world in the first fight by knocking Lewis out in the 5th round in what was actually a great knockout by itself. But it was the rematch where history was made when Lennox landed a brutal 2-punch combination which almost put Rockman right through the canvas.
They're telling him not to counterpunch. Boom! Boom! Will Rockman get up, or have the tables been turned? Is this reversed? 7, 8, 9.
I don't think anyone has ever wanted to win a boxing match as much as Juan Manuel Marquez did back in 2012. It was the 4th meeting between himself and Manny Pacquiao. All 3 of the previous fights were controversial, with Manny getting the decision in 2 and 1 being scored a draw. This time, Marquez was determined to take the fight out of the judges' hands, and just before the bell went, at the end of round 6, he scored one of the best timed right-hand knockouts you'll ever see in a boxing ring.
Now gets his feet back and tries to roar back to nail Pacquiao with the right hand.
Oh! That's another knockdown. He's not getting up, Jim. He's not getting up, Jim. He's not getting up. No, he's been knocked out. A sensational right-hand knockout by a bloody Juan Manuel Marquez. And that is the keystone moment of his career.
My personal favorite knockout of all time came back in 1984 when Roberto Duran challenged Thomas the Hitman Hearns for the WBC welterweight title. Both men were seriously dangerous guys to be in the ring with, but Hearns proved to be that little bit more dangerous when he flattened Duran in the second round. Take a look as both men are radically swaying for each other in this an epic
round
shootout.
knockout of the legendary Roberto Duran sounded the return of the Hitman.
Oh, he's out. He was out before he hit the canvas.
If there's a sweet spot in boxing, it was that night where Hearns' fist met the point of Roberto Duran's chin. He was out cold, just boom, out. He looked like 140 pounds of pancake batter, just splat, down he went.
When I hit Roberto Duran, it seemed like it was just a thrust of power just went through my arm.
I'm certain no welterweight, past or present, would have been able to get up from that punch. Simply electrifying. Thanks for watching, fight fans. We hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to subscribe if you're new around here, and hit the like button if you enjoyed the content. Until next time, this is Boxing Legends TV, signing off.